reacting to whatever we see. First thing we see, we react to. First real video we see, we reacting to. Bro. Bro. Bro, what are these videos? The most terrifying depiction of Black Chicago be like part. Bro, I already watched that though. I guess this it is. What is this? The strongest swordsman die and reincarnate as student of T. Student of T. What? What is going on? Yeah, I know. Forgotten Shores. Who doesn't know about that? The Hunt Russian the Elite. Bro, like, this is actually kind of funny, though. Freaked out. This guy, though. One Cloud9, bro. You low-key be catfishing with your, like, thumbnails and stuff. But this I still can't get over. I don't even watch things like this on YouTube. The strongest swordsman dies and reincarnates a student of T. Like, dang.
If you need new furniture, stop. Shop now at Bayer's Furniture during the $20 million inventory sell-off.
Japan is a country like any other, comprised of both positives and negatives. If you're familiar with the country, then one of the big negatives that you might already be aware of is the slave labor work culture, where you get paid absolutely nothing and yet still have to give up everything.
I'm not going to Japan. Well, I'm not living in Japan. Crossing that off of my list. Not going back to my home country. Well, I'm not living back in my home country. I'm not living in Japan. I'm not going to the UK. And I don't want to drink syrup all day, so no Canada. Where can I go? Let me think. I might have to stay in the greatest country in the world, the USA.
But another major negative in the country that happens to be more of an open secret is the worrying rise of stalking-related incidents. This has long been an issue in the country, but its turning point...
It's never been a secret, gang. It's never been a secret.
Was actually in the year of 1999, when a typical stalker case turned into a disastrous murder that humiliated the nation's police due to their pathetic handling of the entire case. Today, and 26 years later, we recently found out from a report that cases involving stalking in Japan are currently sitting at an all-time high. And in the first half of 2025, we witnessed a stalking case so disastrous, so mismanaged by the police, that it made people start drawing parallels between it and the tragic case from 26 years ago. So what the hell happened, and how is this something...
How is that even possible? Bro, Asia is a very strange place. Like, I don't know what it is with Asians specifically, but like, it's like every Asian country has screws loose in like a different way. If you go to Korea, they just have screws loose because they're like so obsessed with their celebrities. Like, let's say I was a celebrity in South Korea right now. First, I would never be a celebrity there. I'm black. And I'm African. I'm done for. But anyway, let's say I'm a celebrity there and I get a pet dog like this one. Like, they're the type of place where they will be saying, oh, you got a pet dog. You got a pet dog. Like, they will always have something to say. I don't like that, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, everywhere got screws loose in different ways. But like, I don't know, specifically Asians, bro. Japanese people are kind of like Koreans, but they're just more obsessed. You feel me?
That the country's not going to forget about anytime soon. Well, let's talk about it. Alright, so to truly understand the significance of this incident, we have to go all the way back to the year 1999 in order to talk about the story of Ino Shiori, a 21-year-old university student at the time. You see, on January 1999, Ino would meet a guy at an arcade by the name of Komatsu Kazuhito. They got to know each other that day and shortly afterwards started dating. It didn't take long, though, for Ino to start noticing some pretty severe...
Bro, you know, I always feel bad because, like, why is it always the handsome guys, bro? No Diddy, of course. But, like, gang, this never made sense to me, bro. Like, he's not ugly. He is not. He's actually, like, king. He's, like, really him? I already see where the story's heading, bro. But why, bro? You could have went with any other girl. Now you ruined her life, her family's life, and probably yours. I can already know where this is going. Oh, she sees a bunch of red flags in him. She tries to stop talking to him. Oh, he keeps trying to talk to her. She's like, leave me alone. And then he probably murders her because she doesn't want to talk to him anymore. I see it, bro.
You see, on January 1999, Ino would meet a guy at an arcade by the name of Komatsu Kazuhito. They got to know each other that day and shortly afterwards started dating. It didn't take long, though, for Ino to start noticing some pretty severe red flags. For example, Komatsu would all of a sudden start buying her some very expensive luxury items, such as Louis Vuitton handbags and Gucci clothing. Ino wasn't so easily swayed, though, and didn't really care about materialism, so she would refuse them. Komatsu wouldn't take this well at all and would start screaming at her and causing scenes in public. At that point, Ino...
Oh, yeah, she is. Bro, I'm telling y'all, this is exactly how it's gonna go. Oh, she's gonna be like, leave me alone, leave me alone. He's gonna be like, oh, come on, just give me one more chance. Maybe she gives him one more chance, maybe not. And then he does something like beat her or something, right? Then she's like, bro, you know what? Like, I don't want you no more. Leave me alone. Like, I'm never getting back with you. Then he starts getting mad, starts stalking her, right? And then she probably calls the police or something. That's where he humiliates the police. She probably calls the police, and then, hold on. Yeah, she calls, like, let me give out what I think is going to happen. She calls the police. The police is going to get him, but he gets away somehow. And it keeps constantly happening to the point where it was, like, humiliating. Like, you know Jack the Ripper? Like, I think he was on Jack the Ripper timing. Oh, the police is outside that door, he finds a way to jump out of the window. Like something like that, right? And then eventually he gets enough of her saying no. So he's just like, you know what? If I can have you, nobody can. And kills her. And then police... Wait, they humiliate... Either police catch him or he ends himself. Gotta be one of those.
Knew that this guy was crazy and started to slowly distance herself from him. Komatsu noticed that and threatened to hurt her unless she stayed with him. And so she did, until she was finally able to leave him.
And I tell y'all, going exactly how I planned it. I didn't plan it. Going exactly how I predicted it. Yup.
Months later. This is when Komatsu would effectively lose his mind. Over the course of the next 4 months, he would spread letters and posters all over the neighborhood to slander both Ino and her father. The harassment got so bad that both Ino and her father went to their local police station in the Saitama prefecture and presented them with these posters, these letters, even license plates and photos of certain cars that were spreading the slander. And of course, the police couldn't care less. They didn't assist in any way, shape, or form, which of course only served to leave.
So, my predictions were actually wrong. The police were just being punks. That's why. That's how they were humiliated. Because, like, they had evidence, but the police didn't do anything.
Ino and her family defenseless.
So, like, instead, like, let's say the police is right outside, instead of busting the door down and opening it up, they just leave. They're just like, I don't want to open it today. So my last thing, my middle part of it, where the police got involved, was wrong. But I hope my parlay still hit. What am I talking about?
This entire harassment campaign and Komatsu's obsession would reach its conclusion on the 26th of October, 1999, when Ino would be in the middle of commuting to her
Bro, this kid is knocking on my door. This bro.
afternoon class at university. She biked all the way to Okigawa Station, and as she was getting off, a man armed with a knife would end her life on the spot. By the time her body had made it to the hospital,
That was fast. 2 minutes and he already killed her. Wait, in front of the police station? Bro, I knew the Japanese police was something, but whoa, hold on. Let me stop my road there. I don't want to mysteriously disappear. In fact, let me change what I just said. This specific police thing is something else. Not the whole Japanese police. Yeah.
was already too late. It turned out that Komatsu had hired a hitman for 20 million yen, an obscene amount of money, in order to take her out. But one could only wish that the story really only ended here. No, things got substantially worse. As the parents of Ino were grappling with the fact that she wasn't with them anymore, the same Saitama police station that refused to help them attempted to cover their own asses by fabricating misinformation about Ino as a person, spreading lies about her, saying that she was a promiscuous woman, even going as far as calling her an escort, someone who sells her body to men for money. Shortly after, Japanese tabloids...
Yo! What? Only in Asia, bro. Only in Asia. Only in Asia would this happen, bro. Actually, only outside of America, bro. There is no way you're this much of a... Like, only outside of America would this happen. This is genuinely baffling. What? Even if she was easy, does that mean she has to die for it? Like what? This is actually insane, bro. Oh, this is Chineke.
As well as mainstream press, would also run with that same narrative, slandering her name and running it to the mud even further, even after she had lost her own life. Instead, it took one independent journalist by the name of Kiyoshi Shimizu to expose what Ino truly went through with her family over the course of 1999, and to expose the complete incompetence of the police, as well as exposing the people behind her death. It was a national embarrassment, with 3 senior officers being dismissed immediately and a few others having their entire salaries cut. This was such a serious issue that in the year 2000, lawmakers passed the...
Bro... I can't fathom this, bro. I genuinely can't fathom my brain around it. Dang. I genuinely cannot fathom my brain around it. You lied about her death. Even why didn't her parents say anything? Wait, am I tripping or did I hear him wrong? Didn't he say that she came with her dad or something? Or her mom or her family? Bro, my arm's bleeding right now, so I'm gonna go clean up the blood real quick. But in fact, hold on, let me just hold the camera while I clean it up. Just get some tissue paper and clean it. Guys, this is genuinely no tissue paper, so I'm just gonna wash my hands.
Anti-Stalking Act, giving victims...
Bro. I don't want to say specifically Asia, because I know other countries, and other countries would do something similar to this. But, bro. Only stories like this come out from Asia, bro. Like, I know they're not the only people capable of doing something this evil, corrupt, like this, like, I can't, bro. Instead of just being like, oh, it was all bad, bro. In fact, they wouldn't even have to do that. Just catch the guy. Won't even have to let it be known, but no. Bro, bro.
Of stalking and harassment more power by allowing police to intervene before a situation becomes serious. And to this day, this remains a pretty big deal. One quick Google search and you'll see testimonies from many people living in these so-called first world countries, venting their frustrations about how they went to their local police station, told them of a stalker, showed them proof, and the police refused to do anything, even going as far as saying we can't do anything until the stalker does something. In other words, we can't do anything unless the stalker hurts you, which by then would be too late. So to be fair, Japan was definitely one step ahead with this law passing, but it was still far from being perfect.
Bro, what's considered a first world country, bro? At this point, bro, what's considered a first world country? Let me Google it.
A first world country is generally considered to be a wealthy, industrialized nation with a high standard of living, a democratic government, and a strong economy.
Second world, leadership, third world. Like, I guess so, but this is still crazy to me. You would rather lie to everybody than actually do your job. So you would rather lie. Bro, only in Asia, bro. Like, I'm trying not to say that, but only here, bro. And this is so baffling. I've been yapping for 17 minutes about this. This is genuinely so baffling to me.
Stalking-related violence still occurred multiple times, and the law was revised 3 different times throughout the years. Once in 2013, once in 2016, and one more recently in 2021. Each of these revisions aimed to give victims even more power when being faced with a stalker. The most recent revision in 2021 actually changed the legal definition of what stalking is, specifying that making silent calls, or calling, or transmitting using a fax machine, or sending text messages through any text messaging service persistently, despite his or her rejections, is enough to be classified as a stalker. There were also more specifications in this revision, like how if someone was walking in your neighborhood repeatedly and you felt like they were stalking you, then the police could intervene. In a perfect world, giving so many tools to victims of stalking would effectively mean that stalking is now extinct, right? Well, unfortunately, we don't.
It's Japan, bro. like, come on, bro. It's Japan. Oh. Anyway, bro, it's Japan. Come on. Like, that level of genjutsu is not gonna work on me. Even if you give them all of this, watch. Either somebody's gonna ruin it by falsely accusing another person so that they have to rewrite the laws. Somebody's gonna abuse it by just being like a stupid person and abusing it, wasting police time and stuff. Or like somebody's gonna ruin it somehow. If somebody doesn't ruin it somehow, then I don't know any way else to. Cause gang, this is very easy to like ruin. Like for somebody to use it against you. Like my brother comes into my room multiple times a day, though I don't want him to. Does that make him a stalker? Technically he could be.
Really live in a perfect world. And as you saw in the beginning of the video, stalking incidents keep increasing, not decreasing. And the latest stalking-related incident that just occurred in 2025 is a grim reminder that what happened in the year 1999 to Ino can still very easily happen today. Alright, so we're now in the year of 2025, and our story takes place in the Kanagawa Prefecture, part of the greater Tokyo area. More specifically, in its capital city, which is Yokohama. Renowned for many aspects of its cultural heritage, as well as its very big and varied Chinatown district. This story involves Okazaki Asahi, a 20-year-old working a regular office job, and on the other hand, we have Shirai Hideyuki, a 27-year-old who's unemployed. They were both in some sort of a romantic relationship together. We don't have an exact timeline as to when they first met and started dating, but what we do know is the first time that Okazaki reached out to the police. On June 2024, Okazaki reported having a nasty physical fight with Shirai. She went ahead and reported this to the local law enforcement, which in her case was the Kawasaki Rinko police station. As far as we know, they wouldn't hear back from her until September 2024 when things would escalate further. This is when she would file an official written complaint, saying that she got injured after they had gotten into a physical fight. Things weren't very straightforward though, because a month later, on October 2024, she would go ahead and withdraw that complaint, essentially saying that she didn't want to press charges anymore. So the police didn't bother looking into this further. But obviously, things aren't that simple. In fact, what's really interesting here is that on May 2024, just a few months prior to this, the National Police Agency of Japan called on prefectural police departments to place priority on protecting the victim when romantic entanglements break down, because problems can escalate rapidly and lead to violence. This was an official statement made by the National Police Agency. And you had a woman who was saying that she was in an abusive relationship, talking about physical harm, who had so far made a complaint in June and a written one in September, only to then withdraw it in October. But don't worry, because barely a month later in November, she would file yet another complaint against him. So of course, you're probably wondering, now that there's been so many different instances of complaints, what did the police do so far? Well, they verbally warned Shirai 3 times, as if the guy had publicly left trash on the street or something. And I think it would take common sense to understand that if you just verbally warn someone about the...
He has tattoo and he's Japanese, bro. All you need to know, bro. Having tattoo in Japan is basically like... What's the equivalent to that here in America? But I don't know. It's like if you have tattoos, people just automatically think you're in a gang or something. It's like having immigrant parents and I don't think there's an equivalent, bro.
domestic violence like this, they would be able to very rapidly conclude who made the complaint against them and punish them for it. So one could even go as far as saying that the police made the situation even worse with how they conducted themselves. But this was nothing compared to how they let down both Okazaki and the entire country of Japan.
How does this keep happening? Why is she even dating somebody with tattoos in Japan? Bro, I don't want to be that guy, but like, dang, come on. Like, it's like those girls who see, but I'm not even finna talk, bro. No. Like, why didn't you leave him after the first incident? And if you couldn't, this is why it's good to have siblings and brothers and stuff, bro. Because over here, if you were to hit like a girl or something, she would call her brothers, her uncle, her dad, and they will curb stomp you, gang. And you're never hitting her again, or you're not even gonna talk to her no more. You try something, you're done. Like, her dad didn't want to step in or nothing.
In December 2024. On December 9th, Okazaki would call the police station 9 different times. And in 3 of those 9 calls, she would explicitly say that she spotted Shirai in her neighborhood walking around, even though he didn't live there. This call also wasn't random. This was someone who had filed multiple reports on Shirai with the police prior to this.
I remember one time my brother and his friend got into a big argument in front of our house. My brother called the police, right? The police pulled up. Like, I'm going upstairs to go and take a shower. Because it was like a big day of fun and stuff. Where we were doing a lot of activities. As soon as I got upstairs to take a shower, bro. Like, midway me taking off my shirt, I heard the boom, 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 boom. And then I heard talking. Like, before I could even take a shower.
Should have been a top priority. However, with that in
mind you, I think that's the only time we've ever called the police here in this address. Or even in our family, have we ever had to call the police before? I don't think so. Probably our first time of my family calling the police.
The police only bothered to tell her to not leave her house. That's it. And they didn't bother looking into this further, even though she had called them 9 different times. Thanks to the Anti-Stalking Act that we saw earlier in the video, the police had full legal right to intervene here. But they didn't. And you know what the worst part is? We have a video of him literally prowling outside of her house while looking directly at the window in the creepiest way possible. I mean, watch this. This was recorded on the 12th of December, where we can clearly see Shirai prowling around the neighborhood looking directly at the window of...
This is why you need guns, bro. Or like, you need something, self-defense or something, bro. Cause I know her type, bro. Bro, I can just see this. Maybe she gets a bat or something. He breaks into the house, too scared to hit him with a bat. Then she gets beaten up, or possibly killed. Like, y'all gotta, bro. With a gun, this would never happen. His head would have been gone before she even called the cops. Why aren't... Bro, y'all need some bloodthirsty cops. A way for people to defend themselves. And more compassion.
the house of where Okazuki was staying. If I saw this outside of my window, I would be creeped out beyond belief. It was recorded by one of the friends of Okazuki who was staying with her, no doubt because she felt way too scared to be alone, and it was sent to the police on the same day. But again, nothing. Shortly afterwards, Okazuki would call the police yet again to let them know that Shirai had stolen her bicycle. Again, nothing was done. And on December 19th, barely a week after the video of him walking around prowling outside of her house, things would escalate to a living nightmare. On December 19th at around 10 p.m. in the evening, Okazuki would call her local police station to let them know that she was fearful for her life. No doubt telling them that she could see Shirai prowling around her house. She was told to call back during daytime. On December 20th at 7 a.m., after no doubt having a sleepless night, Okazuki called the police station yet again and was told to call later because no one could take her call at the time. This was the last known interaction anyone had with Okazuki, because after this, she would vanish and no one would be able to reach her ever again. During the entirety of all these phone calls, she was seeking shelter in her grandmother's house. It looked like this. On December 22nd, just 2 days after Okazuki had disappeared, her grandmother had called that same police station and told them that her granddaughter had not come home, adding that the window in the house was broken and saying that this was probably done by her ex-boyfriend. The police made their way to the house and proceeded to explain to the grandmother that there were more glass fragments outside than inside the house, having the gall to suggest that the glass was broken from the inside, not the outside, insinuating that it was her granddaughter that broke the glass to somehow escape from the house rather than someone trying to break in. They took photos of the broken window.
Wouldn't that even be worse? If she's so fearful of escaping that she had to break the... Bro, I'm saying this for like the 50th time, but only in Asia, bro. Asia has some of the most mind-boggling things imaginable. 1 second people are hunting down thieves in milliseconds. The other second, somebody mysteriously disappeared. They've been calling the police all day, and they're like, maybe it was just your daughter begging for attention. Watch, I promise you they're gonna say something like that. Oh, maybe she just wanted attention, even though she called us 9 times. That's like 11 times if you add up all of them together. Even though she called us 11 times, filed police reports and all of that, and had video, just wanted attention. Watch, I promise you they're gonna say, I'll put this on my life.
but didn't even bother collecting fingerprints. The
I
poor grandmother, who was
promise
practically
you.
being ignored by the police, had to file a written report for them to finally go back to the premises and collect fingerprints, which unfortunately, as far as we know, didn't lead anywhere. Things got even crazier on mid-January 2025 when Shirai's own family would call the police and tell them that while they don't have any concrete proof, they believe that Shirai murdered Okazuki. The police would later admit that they found this call to be unproductive because it didn't help them find the exact whereabouts of Okazuki. Unproductive when Shirai's own family was saying this about him. It's insane. What's even crazier is that on January 24th, the police would find Okazuki's stolen bicycle in front of Shirai's house. For whatever reason, this didn't raise any suspicion.
First of all, this guy is like, he's remarkably stupid, actually. He's like actually so stupid that it amazes me. Like sometimes I know this isn't a good thing to do, but sometimes I wish the killer was smarter. Like, I don't know. It's a bad thing for me to wish, but sometimes they're genuinely so stupid that it's like, wow. And the police took this long? Hey, boy, all I'm gonna say is, not happen here. Bro. Like, every country has their own set of problems, but like, gang, like, this would actually be an almost hilarious scenario if it wasn't so tragic. Like, let's say he stole fruit or something, then I would be laughing like, but like, damn, if he stole fruit, I would be busting out laughing. His bike was well, whatever. Like, damn, bro. But they're doing this on purpose. They're doing this on purpose. He paid them off. Let me not say that word out loud. I don't want to mysteriously disappear. Let me not mention any secret organizations. Just remembered how they got down. They're gang members or something.
Suspicions in their book. Since December 20th, 2024, which was the last time we ever heard of Okazuki, up until March 2025, Shirai would be questioned 7 different times by police. During 3 of those 7 times, they searched Shirai's house with his consent, meaning that they didn't have a search warrant. He just simply allowed them to come in to show that he wasn't hiding something. But this also meant that they couldn't be as thorough as they would have been with a search warrant. With all that in mind, though, it was only on March 25th, when they were interviewing him for the 7th time, that they started getting suspicious of him. Throughout all these different interviews, he kept saying that he had no idea where...
7th time and you're suspicious? This point, whoa, let's not let him go. I was about to say at this point, just let him go, but he murdered somebody for no reason. At this point, bro, something has to be done. Like, bro, because anytime I'm watching an anime, it's usually old people that are police officers. Is this the reason why they're like, I don't know, they're moving like slugs. Like, oh, this evidence, it might be you. No, it might. Oh, the bike was at your house? The bike was at your house? I don't know. It might not be him, even though the bike was at his house. Like, this is actually like bizarre.
Okazuki is, but on March 25th, he finally admitted that on the 20th of December at 6 a.m. in the morning, he went near her workplace in order to hopefully meet her, but couldn't because she didn't go there.
Hey, I bet they didn't even make him. They ain't even do nothing for real. He probably was just like, you know what? Let me just snitch on myself. Watch, I will bet good money on this. I will bet good money on this, bro. That they didn't even apply pressure or nothing to him.
The police, as I said, were starting to get suspicious of him, but the true suspicion arose when Shirai left the country shortly after the.
This is. Bro, I might genuinely end this, bro, cause this is end this live stream, not end myself. That sounded crazy for a second, but King, why is he even allowed if he's a suspect? How did he, and why did he just leave? If Dave interviewed him 7 times and he hasn't thought of leaving us except for now, King, no, that's not a good thing. Thankfully, he left now later than earlier, better than earlier. That way they could catch him easier. But still, for real, for real.
7th interview. He left Tokyo to go all the way to San Francisco. This is when the police would finally get off their asses and get a search warrant for his house, going in to thoroughly inspect it while Shirai was out of the country. This is when they would finally find the whereabouts of Okazuki. The investigation team could sense that there was something wrong in the house. This was a traditional Japanese house made up of wood, which meant that the floor was a bit elevated and it was composed of floorboards. The police started removing those floorboards one by one and eventually made their way to the kitchen floorboards.
Are they allowed to? Hey, is this guy stupid? No, is he? Yeah, he's stupid. Why am I asking a dumb? No, am I stupid? No, I'm stupid for asking such a stupid question. I'm asking. Nah, I'm the stupid one, not him, bro. You put her under. What about when she starts to? Bro, there's only 5 minutes left in this, bro. I could power through 5 minutes, bro. Cause this is so. 2 women died.
When they would find a bag buried deep under those floorboards, and in that bag they found a humanoid figure. And the reason why I say humanoid figure is because initially they couldn't even recognize it since half of it was skeletonized. It was a partial skeleton. It turned out that Shirai, in his pursuit of getting rid of evidence, was slowly barbecuing the corpse, hoping to only have bones left. And he had plenty of time to do that gradually, seeing that he had 4 months to do so up until that.
What? 4 months. So, bro, I was thinking about it and I was like, gang. I was thinking at the very most, could they squeeze 7 interviews into one day? Or one today they interview him? Wait, how much months again? 4 months.
Was slowly barbecuing the corpse, hoping to only have bones left. And he had plenty of time to do that gradually, seeing that he had 4 months to do so up until.
First of all, I was gonna say I was smart in a weird way, but I'm not complimenting this guy, bro. He's a treacherous person. He's a treacherous individual. No joke. I usually only use big words like that, when I'm playing and stuff. But this guy, bro, bro, he's using the word barbecue. I hope he just means like he burnt the corpse. Please, bro. Barbecue. I am hoping he just means like barbecue, like burnt the corpse. I'm praying that he doesn't mean like stirring it up on a stove top and eating it, bro. And this guy had four. In fact, first, I don't want to help anybody get away with a crime, but still, bro. Could have thrown it in a river or just put it in a forest. Like, I know, bro, wildlife in Japan is crazy. Them boys will eat up anything. Wildlife anywhere is crazy. They will eat up anything, including a human corpse. You couldn't just like, no, I'm not giving no ideas or nothing. Like, wow.
Till that point. After further analysis, the police was able to conclude that this was indeed the corpse of Okazaki. So on May 3rd, when Shirai's plane finally...
Oh my gosh. Finally! The one missing person, and there's one corpse. I wonder who it could be. Like, who corpse it could have been. King. And I bet, bro, like, something in my bones is telling me, like, for a split second, bro, something is telling me they almost didn't rip up the floorboards. Something had to happen for them to rip up the floorboards. Watch. Either he's not about to tell it, or maybe I'm just wrong. But like, one junior police officer was like, let's just rip it off. Let's just do everything. And then they rip it off and see the corpse. I bet they wasn't finna do that before that.
landed back in Tokyo, the police was waiting for him at the airport to immediately arrest him on suspicion of mishandling a corpse. What he did was horrendous in every way, but people were wondering, how was he allowed to get this far? The incompetence of the police to the point where they even enabled this murderer to continue doing what he was doing, that was on the same level as the incident back in 1999. But today we have a stalking act that's been revised 3 times. The police couldn't say that they couldn't.
This is 3 times worse. No, can't. If somebody in my school feels like they're being bothered, we will have people like, like even in my school, if somebody just feels like they're being bothered, the teachers will get involved. If it keeps going on, principal, parents, like, it won't even have to get to the point of the police. Like, bro, the police is that dumb.
Act, they had every legal right to do so. 20 days after initially being caught at the airport, Shirai was both indicted and charged with damaging and abandoning a corpse, without specification as to whether he acknowledged responsibility or not. Police vowed to continue investigating the case, but obviously, as you can imagine, Okazaki's family is outraged beyond belief. On May 3rd, when Shirai was initially...
I'm not gonna lie, if something like that happened to one of my brothers, even to my dog, bro, I will pull out everything in my power to sue. Even though I'm just a child, I will pull out everything I could possibly pull out to sue, bro. Sue the smithereens. Will do everything in my power to get my get back. That's all you need to know. Dang, that's for my dog. For my sip. Like, gang, I will call it, bro. I will be calling up, bro. Hey.
Arrested, they protested outside the police station saying things like, "You killed her. You're the reason why our daughter left this world." And at this point, it would be hard to disagree with them. However, the Kanagawa Rinko police station has defended its handling of the case, claiming that Okazaki didn't want to fight.
Bro, what is up with them? Just apologize. Like they make themselves look worse. I hate when people do this. Just say, I'm sorry. It stops there. Like, I'm sorry it's not gonna bring her back. I'm sorry it's not gonna twist anything around. But just say, oh, we apologize. Just, you don't even have to put thought into it. No, we ain't do nothing wrong. This, that, and the third. King, just apologize. And bro, people are genuinely so stupid it gets my brain hot. Just isn't Japan like, this is Japan, bro. I've gotten left speechless like 15 times within within 15 minutes of this video. I keep getting speechless, bro. My throat, like my words keep stopping at my throat. Like even right now, as I'm talking.
Stalking charges against Shirai and that there was no indication she regarded his actions as stalking. Many found this statement to be ridiculous because she had filed multiple reports against him and by December was claiming to have felt unsafe over him walking outside of her house and even providing proof of that. We literally saw a video of him walking around in the creepiest way possible. Shortly later, a prefectural police spokesperson said they would review the office's handling of the case. But again, that's too little, too late. I can't imagine what the family and the parents had to go through for 4 months until they finally received
Wait, can they sue?
closure in the worst way possible. This was so significant that the father of Ino Shiori, the woman who was in the 1999 case, had something to say about it, stating, "I want members of the police station where the victim sought help to think again about whether the way they respond recalls their mission to protect the lives of citizens." Serving
You want to know the first thing? You want to know the worst part about the first case? Is that the guy was genuinely handsome. He could legitimately, like, even if he was a weirdo, he could pull a lot of girls in Japan. He looked, even around the world, he's considered, bro. Like, that genuinely, like, aches my heart. Somebody had to die for no reason, basically. You had to die for no reason, basically. Like, even the other guy, bro. Hang out with some punk girls if you have to. Like they would say over there in Japan. Watch anime, but, like, punks. Y'all are punks. But hang out with some punk girls if you have to, gang. Like, she did not have to die.
a grim reminder to the nation that even after 26 years, Japan hasn't really improved with how it handles cases of stalking. If anything, it's gotten worse. A national police agency official in Japan who handles such situations has been quoted as saying, "I feel quite strongly that what matters the most in implementing those measures is the awareness of each individual police officer," specifying to us that even though the tools and the laws are there, what really matters in the end is the individual police officer and how willing they are to help people like this. Look, this is obviously very tragic and so frustrating. It's like, why are you even a police officer if you don't do anything? But what's crazy here, obviously, is that both Ino back in 1999 and Okazuki in 2025 are both regular members of society. We're used to seeing news about how celebrities and news anchors and public figures always have to deal with stalkers because of their fame. But this can literally happen to the most regular, average person you know. Okazuki literally worked an office job. But like anyone on the planet, she sought love. She sought a partner. And to do that, you have to date multiple people. And she simply got unlucky with Shirai. That shouldn't cost her her...
This is like crazy, bro. Oh, you gotta choose your partner wisely. In fact, they weren't even official partners. Well, one of them. In fact, both of them, since the other girl, the first girl, they went on like one date. The second girl, y'all, I'm gonna be right. McCoy, you got a miracle? McCoy! Alright, never mind. The first girl, she went on one date with the guy. The second girl technically broke up with the guy. So like, bro, like that's the thing that genuinely gets me so angry though. Why are you doing that? If you were If you were ugly, like so atrociously ugly that you couldn't get a girl, like it's still not fair. But alright, I could. Well, I'm not seeing where you're coming from. I have no sympathy. I don't know, bro. Like, it just makes it more meaningless. That's like my dog killing me and eating my corpse, even though we give him treats. Like, it's so meaningless. Then he's gonna get put down. He gets killed for what? Like he gets killed. My mom loses her son. My father loses his son. My brothers lose their sibling. They lose their dog too. So, like, you see how meaningless that was? Like, gang, we can buy him food. He doesn't have to do that. Like, free food, free water, take him out.
Entire life. The same exact thing had happened to Ino. It sucks. I hope that Okazaki is the last person to have to suffer something like this, but both Japan and the rest of the world
It's just so meaningless and evil to me, bro. I can't understand it, bro.
have a long way to go until people can finally feel safe when having to deal with a stalker. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Please stay safe out there, and I hope that you never, ever have to deal with a police station as incompetent as this one. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. I love you so much. Mwah.
Alright. Y'all boys, see y'all later. Love you guys. Almost an hour-long stream. Crazy. Love y'all. See y'all later. Bye. Before I leave, bro, y'all gotta know, like, it's still, like, so, like, gang, if I was the family, I wouldn't even know how to react. The second guy, like, he wasn't the most handsome in the world. Wasn't even, like, crazy good looking. Bro, at that point, just go, like, girls will still like you, bro. Even if no girl liked you, don't need girls in your life, king. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have girl best friends. I barely got friends. I got my siblings and like two friends I'm really, really close with, bro. And I've never once thought of murdering somebody because they didn't like me. You know how many people don't like me, bro? Ugh.